All right, so make sure you have page 17 labeled scatter plots and correlations. I can help y'all set up your notebooks later. All right, so if you are copying this, I will help you abbreviate, okay? Y'all ready? I can help you with your notebook later, babe. All right. All right. So often we wish to know how two variables are related. The math word you will see for that is correlated. People at home, you don't need to write that. Okay, you don't need to write that first sentence. I will highlight what you need to write. So to find such a relationship, we construct and observe a scatter plot. This is what people at home need to write. A scatter plot. It's okay. We'll set it up later. Make sure you're getting your notes with me. A scatter plot consists of points plotted on a set of axes. That's what I need you to write if you were at home.
On page 16 or 17?
17. Good question. 17. Your vocab will go on 16. And then this is just review, just to make sure y'all remember this, but the independent variable is X. These blanks are small. And the dependent variable is Y. So people at home, I would write on the next bullet or the next line, independent variable X is the horizontal axis, and the dependent variable Y is the vertical axis, which y'all should know that, right? That's what we talked about last unit. Are we okay with that? I want to make sure I'm not going too fast for y'all since y'all are writing. So let me know when you're good. Ashley, Jalen, are y'all good? Alex?
I'm good.
Good? Okay. All right, so 3 types of correlations. We just wrote this on our vocab sheet if you did vocab with us. You can have a positive correlation, a negative correlation, or no correlation. Positive correlation means as the X increases, what does the Y do? What's the Y doing up here? Good, it also increases. So both things are going to be increasing if it's a positive relationship. So people at home, I would write positive correlation. I would draw a quick picture of a graph with a positive line. You don't have to put all the points. You can just put a line going up. And then I would write as X increases, Y increases. Same thing for negative. So negative correlation, I would sketch this graph really quick, draw a line that's going down. Now, let's talk about this really quick. X always increases. Did you guys hear me say that? Let me give you some real world examples. If you studied oh my God, if you studied 0 minutes for your test yesterday, can that go down? All you can do is increase from 0, right? If I tell Kamari to go run around the track and I tell him he's got a minute to run 1 lap, what does his time start at? 0, and it can only go up because we can't have negative time in the real world. So the X will never decrease. X always increases. What makes this negative is that when X is increasing, what are my Y's doing?
Decreasing.
Good. So as X increases, Y decreases. That is what you need to write for a negative correlation. All right, and then no correlation. Are these points related? So no correlation literally means no relationship. They have nothing to do with each other. So what I told them in the vocab, if you can draw a big circle around them, that's a big fat 0. These are not related. It is pretty simple, I'm hoping. All right, so here's what I want you all to do. I will leave that up there if you're at home still copying. I want you guys to try these 3. So listen to your instructions and read, but reading seems hard for some of us. Shots fired. Determine whether the graphs show a positive correlation, negative correlation, or none. So you're going to tell me if it's positive, negative, or none. And then you're going to tell me what they mean. So to describe what they mean, you need to look at what your independent and dependent are. Does that make sense? And I want you to explain it to me. Okay? All right, I'm going to give us, what do we think, 3 minutes since there's 3 graphs? Try it. 3 minutes. I'm here if y'all need me. Just say Miss Poole or Miss PJ. You didn't like me roasting y'all because y'all don't be reading. Huh? All of y'all. Don't be reading. My juniors in pre-cal don't be reading. And I'm like, I'm going to get y'all. Yeah. No better than y'all. They're only 2 years older than y'all. Y'all don't be reading either. Huh? Y'all read like all different books than we used to read. But we didn't read that one. When I took honors English my freshman year, we read Huckleberry Finn, Frankenstein, The Chocolate Wars. That was actually a good book. The Chocolate Wars was about a kid whose mom had cancer, and so he started selling chocolate bars to help pay for her bills. Pretty good book. No, but I've seen the movie. You think so? I'll give you guys another minute and a half. If you have a question about any of these 3, ask me. All right, I think, are we about ready? People at home?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. All right, so for the first one, what kind of correlation is this? Positive, negative, or none? For extra credit, this is extra credit participation.
Positive.
There we go. She said, oh, extra credit. Okay. Good. Positive. Now, to describe this, somebody tell me, just unmute and tell me what you said for your explanation. Okay, so I'm not going to say your name. I'm not supposed to say y'all's names on Zoom anymore. I don't know why. Anyways, somebody in class said, as the more you study, the higher your test score will be. That's a perfect explanation. Did somebody else have a different one? No? Nobody put anything different. Could have worded it different. I just said as study time goes up, test score goes up. I needed you to say something like that though. So you could have said, the more you study, the higher your test score. As study time goes up, test score goes up. Something along those lines. Does that make sense? Did y'all do this in middle school? Something like this? Okay. All right, what about the second one? What kind of correlation is this? Negative. There we go. Somebody different. Tell me an explanation. Somebody I haven't heard from so you can get your extra credit point. Nobody wants to give an explanation for extra credit. Okay, they got it in class. They beat y'all. What you put? Good. He said the more TV watched, the less you exercise. That is perfect. You could have said as TV hours go up, exercise hours go down. That would have been great too. Something along those lines. Okay? And then look at the last one, y'all. I can't tell if it's going up or going down because do y'all see how these three right here are kind of flat? This makes a big fat 0. You got points all over the place. So these two things are not related. This is a no correlation. Now, can somebody explain to me why it's no correlation? Somebody different, maybe. For extra credit, why is this not related? Why is this no correlation? Anybody online? Y'all don't want extra credit? Some of us could definitely use it. I'm gonna let one of y'all go if they don't want to answer. Let's see, I got a chat. Oh, good, perfect. All right. So she said because they do not add up, they do not relate to each other. So look what it's talking about. It's talking about hurricanes. Does it matter what year it is and how many hurricanes we have? No, last year we had 2 really big ones. And this year we haven't had any big ones. We had that small one, but all it did was rain. We didn't lose power or anything. So it does not matter what year it is, how many hurricanes you have. It can go up or down any year. We can have a bunch, we could have none, a bunch, none. Does that make sense? So those two things are not related. So do you guys feel okay with telling what kind of correlation we have from either a description or a, what is this thing called? Help me out. A graph, thank you. I'm struggling today. If I give y'all a description, could y'all tell me what kind of correlation it is? Okay, they're saying yes, let's try it. You ready? Where are my sports people at? How many of y'all like sports? Okay, good. I played volleyball, basketball, and ran track if you did not know. So let's talk about it. How would the number of hours you practice and the number of free throws you make relate to each other? Would that be positive, negative, or none? Why is it positive? Yeah, the more you practice your free throws, the more free throws you're going to make in a game. Okay, some of these NBA players can really learn from that because they get on that line and can't make a daggone free throw. It's very embarrassing. All right, another one. How are test grades and not studying related? How are test grades and not studying related? Is that a positive relationship, negative relationship, or none?
Negative.
Good, because the more you don't study, your test grade is going to go down. Good. So y'all are okay with the situation and you're okay with a graph, right? Okay, so here's the last thing we got to talk about. I knew I wore this shirt for a reason today. Spreads of correlations. Now, I need y'all to understand this right here. It doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. To tell how strong it is, you are looking at how tight the points are to the line. I could embarrass him and make him get up here, but I'm not going to. Y'all see these little twig arms? I ain't got it like I used to. What kind of muscles would you say Miss Poole has? Bye, that was rude. F. He said pancakes. They're very small, right? No, they don't jiggle. They're toned, but they're very small. So you guys would say I have weak muscles, right? You can say weak, it's okay. They're like, we don't know how to answer this. You can roast me, it's fine. I got weak muscles. So listen, when you have a weak correlation, the points are spread out and they're far away from that line. The tighter the correlation is, the closer the points are, and that's how your muscle fibers work too. The stronger your muscle fibers are, they bunch together, and that's what makes the little hump in your muscle. Yeah, he's like, that's what I got, and you don't, okay? Weak correlations, the points are far away from the line. Strong correlations, they're really tight to the line. So it doesn't matter if it's positive or negative, because I'm hoping you guys could look at these three and say, oh, the line's going up, it's positive, right? We should, yes, by now, hopefully. If not, you need to come see me for some extra help. I'm hoping you can look at these three and say, oh, those are going down, they're negative. But what I want you to be able to do is if I give you three different graphs, tell me if they're strong, moderate, or weak. It is how close they are. It's just like your muscle fibers and your muscles. The closer they are, the more they bunch up, which means they're stronger. So I'm going to give y'all an example. You ready? I'm going to do two examples, actually. So people at home, this is what you can write right here. I should have written it right here. A strong correlation, because you don't need to draw the graphs. A strong correlation has tight points. You guys can write it too, it'll help you. A moderate correlation. I wanted to say medium, that doesn't make sense. Oh well. I'm gonna say medium. A moderate correlation, they're kind of tight, but they're not super spread out. Does that make sense? They're in the middle. And then a weak correlation, you've got loose points. So points that are more spread out. Does that make sense to y'all the way I worded that? Y'all are okay? Online people? Yep. There we go. One person, it makes sense. I'll take one out of however many this is. Not bad. Where did my ladybug go? There she is. All right, so once you have those three written, my online babies, we're gonna look at two examples. So this is example one, and I'm gonna write it with y'all and serve my people in class. Example two. That's fine, you can do yours on the back. Always trying to play somebody. Draw those two scatter plots for me. So remember, a scatter plot, if you joined the Zoom late, is just a graph with points that are plotted. This is a lesson where I miss y'all being in class, because if y'all were doing it in class out here, people doing their points. And there's always somebody who's super extra and does them so aggressively that they like punch a hole through their paper. All right, so while y'all are finishing drawing these two examples, I am gonna talk, so just make sure you listen while you draw. When you are naming correlations, there are two names that you have to give it. Just like, I'm gonna use this example. I got two Kamaris in here right now. So if I say the name Kamari, how do they know who I'm talking to? Good, so somebody in class just said you have to say both their names, their first and their last, right? Same thing with a graph, with a correlation. It has two names. It's got a first and a last. The first name of a graph is if it's positive or negative, because that's the easiest thing to see. The second name is the strength. So the first name is the direction. Does it go up or down? Positive or negative? The second name is the strength. Is it strong, moderate, weak? Does that make sense? So let's look at our first graph. Are y'all ready? Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
No or yes?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Look at your first graph. First name, direction. Is it going up or down?
Up.
The points are going up, which means it is.
Positive.
And I'm okay if you do this. Boom. Positive. Y'all know I'm fine with abbreviating. It's positive. And then look at the points. The second name, how strong are they? Do these points look strong, moderate, or weak?
Weak.
Good. This is a positive, weak correlation. That would be your answer. What about number two? What's the direction? Good. It's going down. So he said negative. And then what kind of points do you have here? Strong, moderate, or weak?
Strong.
Strong. So this is a negative, strong relationship. Can I? LOL. Can I borrow my green bag? Put the lid on it before you throw it to me. Otherwise, I'll get green on my white sweater. Thank you. All right, he threw that right at my head. Y'all saw that. We got it on Zoom. All right, last thing. Yes, you need to write this if you are at home. Be sure to look for outliers. Who can tell me what an outlier is? Okay, so I like this. They're saying it's the point that's far away and isn't with all the other ones. And he said it's like on the outskirts. We were just talking about the outsiders, right? Points that do not fit in, or you could say belong with, well, it already has with. Points that are outside of the general data. So I'm going to give y'all an example in green on one of our graphs we just did. Sound good? Belong with. Yep, you could say points that do not fit in with the general data or points that do not belong. So look at all my pink points. Do y'all see how they're tight and they're going down? What if I put me a green point out here? That's an outlier, okay? Same with this top one. If I put a green point, I can do it up here, that's fine. All the way up here. Is it in the rest of the data trend? No, that's an outlier, okay? So here's why outliers are important. If I polled all of us in the room, there's not that many, but if I included you guys, and I polled y'all on your favorite store to shop at, who would be an outlier? Right, but I want you to be specific. If all of us take a poll, who's going to be the outlier probably? No. Me, because I'm an old lady. I don't like the same stuff y'all like for the most part. I do like TikTok. Good, she said you. Yes, ma'am. I will be the outlier. Does that make sense? Okay. If there is an outlier, it outlies the rest of the data. You don't use it. Sound good? All right, so listen to me before you hop off. These were your notes for today. You have a classwork and a homework. Together, they should not take you more than 20 minutes, okay? So let me show you the classwork really quick. You can do it in your notebook. The first 6, the whole front page, is multiple choice. You're just telling me if it's positive, negative, none. Yep, that's basically it. That's what you're doing on the front. Then when you look at the back, it's 4 graphs, just like we did up here, where you have to tell me what kind of correlation, and you have to describe the meaning, and then listen carefully for extra credit on the back. If you also tell me the strength, is it strong, moderate, or weak, and you get those right, I'll give you extra credit points. Does that make sense? Y'all are good? People online, think y'all are good?
Yes.
Is this homework? No, this is classwork. It should only take 10 minutes. Your homework is a Delta Math that is 8 questions that requires no work. So you need to get above a 60 on it. Some of y'all keep playing yourselves in your Delta Math and you only do half of it and you get a 20. You've been getting 20s as your grades because the directions say get above a 60. You have 2 tries on every question. You should definitely get above a 60.